Okay, here we go. I think we're running everywhere. See if our batteries will last to get over there. And we'll let FSD take us to Superior to get this tires rotated and repaired. Seems Hardware 3 stays a little bit over to the right side of this dirt road. A little more than Hardware 4 does. It's certainly safe right here. But I think I drive about 6 inches farther over. I honestly don't recall now. I'll have to get back into my other car and see what it does. I've been driving this one all morning now, so... But she seems to have it down pretty good. Certainly comfortable for me to ride along with her. We'll let the car drive today. Oh, I guess she has us taking it out to the right. That's right. Oh, car's coming. What do we... Yeah, looks clear. Okay. Just a little bit of thoughtfulness at the corner there. Let's see if we can... rotate this around where it'll go north like that. Camera, or the inside camera, quickly notices my eyes are looking back at the road and clears the error or warning, which everybody politely or affectionately calls the nag. That it nags you to look, but you can look around and enjoy the surroundings. You don't need to verify constantly. You can look up at the road and see it's clear and there's nobody there except for this big truck coming in the other lane. But I'm pretty confident FSD's not going to run into it. But there we go. You're certainly within the realm of supervision. You're like a passenger. You can look around and enjoy the surroundings without fear of rear-ending somebody. But again, with supervision, you need to be supervising. So it's an interesting state that we're in right now with a car that drives so well that it's easy not to pay attention. But the car drives so well, you have to pay attention because you never know. You do know. It's pretty predictable. And I think for the simple stuff, we've got it solved. And I say we, I didn't do any of it, but I believe the technology pretty much knows what it's doing. We're just improving it incrementally from here. But I'm pretty comfortable now that the Superior Service Center... Uh-oh. I just cleared it accidentally. How did I do that? Okay. Put the service center back in there. Okay. Oh, look. I get distracted. Interesting. Car in the middle of the road here. It was certainly fine. He dwelt in our lane a little bit longer than I would have felt comfortable with, but the car didn't even react to him. He wasn't impinging on our path at all. But I was surprised how long it stayed there. I think my Hardware 4 car would have just relaxed the acceleration during that. But it is subtle these days, the difference between Hardware 4 and Hardware 3. Outside of the destination parking and all of that, the actual drive itself is very similar. There's a bit of a slowdown for the speed limit, but 47 and a 45 right now. In standard mode, with max speed in hardware 3 on version 12.6.4 to my recollection. And like I was saying before I so inconsiderately cleared the navigation, we're scheduled to be there at 1:43, so we'll be there just a good 15 minutes early. And we've got 36 minutes to go. So we'll just enjoy the trip and see how FSD and hardware 3 handles the trip from Brighton to Superior, which is over near Boulder. And it looks like she's going down I-76 to go back up the Boulder Turnpike, which seems to be the correct route to do this on. And I'm at 75% charge, 76% charge right now. I was out driving this morning and put another 5% back in. Adjust my seat a little bit. Having two Teslas, I noticed that when you move from one car to the next. Turn my max speed down or I'll get a visit from the police here. Come on. 2, 31, 30, 25. There we go, down to 25. Thank you. See, I can do it. Nothing to see here, just driving by. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your fine police work. I made it. So that's one thing that hardware 4 wouldn't have done without max speed, is it doesn't, at the very worst, in standard, it would have accelerated up to about 30 miles an hour, maybe 31 or 32, but it wouldn't have accelerated that quickly to that speed limit. So the older hardware, speed-wise, is dependent on the max speed. We're on hardware 4 right now with version 14 yards, so dependent on that. So I find it a little easier to drive, but again, I don't normally drive this every day since I bought the hardware 4 car. Yeah, honestly, I got sucked into it because when you have hardware 3 and you hear about all these really neat things with hardware 4, and since the stock has appreciated so much since the April lows at 220 or 230, that the stock has performed well, and having a little bit of that stock myself, I was able to go out and get a hardware 4 car. So thank you, Mr. Stock Market, for buying me another car. I'm hoping for a hardware 5 car when all this rolls out and everybody goes, hey, why didn't you tell me the cars could drive themselves? And the stock appreciates more, then I'll be able to trade this in and get a hardware 5 car. So, if it works out, you could do it too. I think the stock's down to 450 right now. So, if self-driving works and people find out about it, wouldn't you want to be one that knows? We'll wait for this big semi-truck to clear and the other 2 cars. See how it would have pulled out right now. We're waiting for these 4 cars that are coming. Let's go ahead and give her permission to pull out. I went ahead and touched the accelerator. Normally, this particular car is a little more bold than my hardware 4 car, but that was keeping her from getting into the lane. So, it's fine. It would have cleared. There was nobody behind me to get irritated, so it was fine. But that's one thing that you may have to do with a hardware 3 or 4 car, is occasionally press the accelerator slightly to say it's okay to go. Go ahead. Of course, if you run into somebody, it's your fault. Okay, merging. We got one guy in the fast lane and nobody impinging on our lane. And we do a nice merge on the highway. So we're traveling down Highway 76 now at 75 miles an hour in standard. in a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit, and max speed is set on 82 or 80 miles an hour now. So we have liberty to exceed the speed limit if she wants to for some need. Other than that, we'll just sit here and watch her drive down 76. There's not a lot of highway driving that's included in FSD videos because it's frankly pretty boring. It's not that complex a maneuver to keep it in lane following. FSD is not lane following though. It knows exactly where it's heading and what it's doing, and it's very smart. It is looking out for blowing leaves and other things and making sure your ride is safe. The issue with sensor fusion and having lidar and radar and all the other things that you throw in there, at these speeds, and forgive me if my calculations are a little bit off right now, but I think it's about 12 feet you travel every tenth of a second at 80 miles an hour. So the response time, the 36 hertz that FSD responds at 36 times a second, is sufficiently fast at highway speeds to provide safety at these speeds. I understand that's why Waymo stayed away from highways for quite some time, and yet they're going ahead and doing it now. But I would be interested in that timing for the response speed for the controls to output loop. You can feel the response of Tesla's FSD to situations that appear in the cameras with traffic, slow down cars, whatever. And that response speed to what you see occurring in the camera gives you reassurance that the car knows what it's doing. Early on, with the earlier versions of hardware, of version 12 of FSD, I was a little concerned with following distance, with when braking occurred on the highway. You would see lights occurring well ahead of us, but not feel a response from the car. And I prefer having the car let me know what's going on. So I like that little relaxing of the accelerator, just to show that the car, see, I feel that just a little bit now. There's nothing in front of us, but there's a response to the surface conditions or something on the road that it's reassuring that it's not confused about what it's doing. There's no bumping between lanes. Lane centering is really very good and consistent. I have seen her respond to large trucks or semi-trucks. She'll grant some extra room to traffic in the lane if needed. I can see this guy is coming towards us right now. I'm sure FSD has noticed that as well. And she'll probably be passing him. Yeah, she's signaled to go around him now. And she'll generally do it right when, just before it's possible, so that that car knows we want to come over too. So that lane change was all handled without my input by FSD, and it was completely, what's the right word for it? Non-eventful. It didn't gather my attention at all. Some of the other stops or avoidance of road hazards at slower speeds is more aggressive. She'll go ahead and turn at a pretty good rate to avoid a pothole or an icy spot on the road. But on the highway, I've never had her make drastic decisions. I've seen a couple of accidents on the road. One was, I think, what's his name up in Canada? Not Dillon, but I think it's Canada FSD or Toronto. Anyway, pardon my memory. But I think we all watch FSD videos all over because we're all interested in what others are experiencing and making sure everything's safe for everybody. That's the only communication we have between us, is what's happening in our cars, and I think you would be interested in what's happening in mine as I am interested in what's happening in yours. So thank you for doing videos on your side, and I'll keep mine up as long as people are interested. Let me know in the comments if you want to see anything, or I'm just going to be making videos. I'll be happy to custom do anything that you might be interested in. especially between hardware 3 and hardware 4 cars, because I think that's a rarity where somebody making videos actually owns 2 cars of different types. So I'm a little obsessed. And funny thing, I hear with Parkinson's, one of the side effects or one of the problems that it can be because of the medication, it can cause obsessive behavior, either compulsion in sexual things or in gambling. And I go, I don't have any problems gambling. I never wanted to gamble. And my wife won't let me have any sexual problems, so I got nothing. I guess I'm obsessed with Tesla FSD. Great. I don't even have a decent obsession. Oh well. I guess I can be thankful for not having too bad of moral failures. But trimmer does acting up a little bit today. I'm glad I can just trust the car to take me there. That I just took some carbidopa, so about a half hour, that should feel better. I had an appointment at the service center at 10 o'clock this morning, and I just forgot about it. And sent him a message right away and asked them if they wanted me to bring it in later or reschedule. And he was kind to say, yeah, what kind of time can you bring it in? So we settled on 2 o'clock, and I'm heading there and should get there at about 1:45. Lord willing, and the tires hold out. FSD is deciding she wants to go ahead and pass this traffic. Works for me. See, he's not looking at the road. He's looking down at his phone. That's the other thing you see when you're free to watch other people. There's a lot of human drivers that look at their phones while they're driving. I don't know if you've noticed, but that's a thing. What would you rather have? Some robot car out there driving safely? Or 25 people looking at their cell phones doing 80 miles an hour down the highway? The semi-truck's doing 80, and I've got somebody coming up behind me. I'm going to go ahead and raise the max speed so she can go ahead and speed up a little bit to pass this truck. It looks like the truck is, see, the truck is doing 8, 9 over. He's not pressing me in the rear, so I think he's fine with it. I don't really want to press the accelerator here. 82 is fast enough for me, and I don't want to be behind the semi-truck, so there we have a problem. And I think the guy behind me is fine. He's pulled back and it's not pressuring me at all. I think on this turn, this truck will get the hint and slow down because it's an uncomfortable position. No, don't slow down here. The speed limit changed to 65 there, and FSD was going to respond, but the truck didn't slow down at all, and I didn't want to be next to him any longer. So I sped up. We'll let it slow down now. Okay, I manually went ahead and told it let's slow down to the speed limit, which is 65 now, and we'll get in the lane to let people pass us. So that's an example of having to not intervene. I was on FSD the whole time, but because of situations, dynamic situations on the highway, you may be uncomfortable with where you are, and you can use the turn signal to change lanes. She responds to that very effectively. And you can also change modes. I'm in standard right now, but if I were to go to chill, she would get over to the right lane, and if I were to go to hurry, she would get over to the left lane. So standard seems to be just fine for this drive. output on the cameras. Still on track to get there at 1:43. That's very nice. Don't you love GPS? I remember when that first came out, I bought one of the Garmin GPS units because I fly, and I wanted to have it for the airplane. But it was a little 1 inch by 1.5 inch screen, about like that. It was very small and a handheld device, and it was good to about 50 feet. And it was used for aircraft primarily. I don't know that there was any automotive use of it at that time. But it sure is a nice addition to... Oh, here comes that truck again. So there's a semi-truck that doesn't want to follow the laws. What's he doing? Where's he from? I don't know. You hear about all these foreign nationals that are driving on highways with... that can't speak English and can't read the signs. It's a little bit nerve-wracking. I don't know how many of them there are out there, but I've never liked driving next to semi-trucks. They're just too big. Anyway, we're doing 68 and a 65 on Interstate 76 heading towards Superior, Colorado to the Tesla Service Center. I haven't touched the wheel pretty much since I left home, and although I did have to back up earlier on a drive this morning, she got stuck. I went ahead and did that residential route just to see what Hardware 3 did with that, and a couple of situations popped up. Hardware 3 can't back up on FSD 12. 12 doesn't have a reverse feature available, so if she gets to a point where she can't continue forward, you have to intervene, which doesn't make it impractical to use, but you do have to have the use of your hands and perhaps legs to be able to touch the brake or have some sort of mechanism in place to do that. Hardware 4, you don't need to touch the brake or do anything. It will back up. You can do everything from the screen. You can replot it and do everything, so it's a little easier to intervene with if you need to. And I suspect Hardware 3 will get those features here in the next 6 months too, as they distill out the version 14.
Music licensing reimagined.
We're doing 66 and a 55 right now. Just changed, I heard a little beep out of the camera saying it's starting a new section. Apparently there's a file limitation in DOS, or in the PC environment, that limits an SD file to 4 gigabytes per file. And when you're filming in 4K video, you build up a 4 gigabyte file in about 5 minutes. So your segment's going to only be about 3 to 5 minutes long, and it requires a lot of stitching, and in CapCut it's a pain in the neck. The auto sync features in Premiere, DaVinci Premiere really do help with syncing all those multiple tracks, but I am just doing the cabin cam in 1080p right now. I don't think you need a 4K video of my face or my seats. Again, I know where Superior is, and I pretty much know the path, but I wouldn't need to know where I'm heading. FSD will take you there whether you know where you're going or not. And I just input the address from the Tesla app for the service center. So it's like returning to the barn. She knows she's going home. Probably couldn't keep her from getting there. If you've ever ridden a horse at a stable that's not yours, you'll know they love to go home. So let's see how she merges here onto this is the Boulder Turnpike, or Highway 36 into Boulder. I think it's 36. We're in an exit only for 25 though, so we're going to need to get over. She's speeding backing up, I see, and it looks like we've got room to get over. There's the turn signal, safe behind us, good job. For the most part, everything FSD does is very much according to what a professional chauffeur would do. They're driving very safe. There is a little bit of slowdown right there. Not sure what for, but we slowed down from 66 to 63. Could have been the speed limit change. We're on 65 right now. I don't think that changed. So I'm not sure what that was, but I had the car abort a lane change at times when before when we started a lane change and somebody else will start. FSD will avoid that. Will abort the lane change if somebody also is trying to merge into the lane at the same time. She's quick to go ahead and widen up the gap here, or in this case get a new lane because the man pulled in front of us. We're back up to 66. We're going to arrive at 142, so we're making good time. And I want to charge the cameras when we're there for the service call so I can get charge going back home. So I want to turn on the accessory power and just leave the cameras on charge while they're doing a change out of tires. We're swapping the tires today and doing a tire repair too, I believe. Nothing else, so it should just be an hour-long stop. I don't have a loaner car today because it is such a short stop, so I'll be waiting in the waiting center, waiting room. The Tesla waiting rooms have always been good. I've been to 2 or 3 now. One with changing a flat tire on this car, and is there one other one into this? I think we had one other stop for some reason on this one. I forget. Oh, that was it. Warranty was going out, and I just had them do a once over and a tire rotation earlier, or a filter change or something. I generally take care of the small maintenance on my own, but I'm getting to where I don't like crawling under the dash to change the HEPA filters. The indoor cabin filters, they made them so they're exchangeable, but they're not easy to do it, and I don't particularly like it. Here's another situation where I tend to defensively drive and not necessarily like to hang around trailers and trucks and things that are prone to having blowouts. I have had a trailer tire blowout, not on me, but on somebody following next to me in my life, just on the outside of Las Vegas one time. So I think it's situations like that that you learn over the years that while they're not typical, oh, that's a pretty wrapped copper-looking Model 3 from Texas. I assume it's wrapped. I don't think Tesla does that color anywhere. Well, it's a nice day in Boulder today. Looks like the clouds are just really lovely and the sky's pretty. Doing 68 and a 65 on the Boulder Turnpike. Heading towards Superior, the Tesla service center up here. I'm on hardware 12.6.4 on a hardware 3 car on a 21 Model Y. That happens to be one of our cars. The equipment I'm using here is pretty basic right now. I've got an Acaso EC 7000, I think it is. I have to look again, but it's the $69 one on Amazon. And I think it was $60 when I bought it. And then I bought their Brave 7 because the cheap one here is really cheap. It's plasticky and doesn't have a lot of controls. And the Brave 7 is obviously a better action camera. It's built well. It's obviously solid and built with quality in mind. But it was $140 or so, $130 on Amazon. I'm shooting in 1080p on here for the cabin camera and 4K video on this. I've got a lot of experience editing in Photoshop, but I've not done a lot of video editing. It just wasn't something that I needed to do. I would do videos on Animoto and others that would do for my photography business, but I didn't have to do any long form videos of weddings or anything. I just wasn't shooting videos at the time. So, yay, I'm 70 and I get to learn a new skill. There's a Model Y going by. Boy, when we took our road trip to California, there were sure a lot of Teslas on the road in California. It's markedly less Teslas in Colorado, and very few in Arkansas and Kentucky when we went back there. I think I only saw one Tesla in that drive to Kentucky, or to Oshkosh. We went up to Wisconsin for Oshkosh, and then drove down to Kentucky after that this year. Took the gas-guzzling RV out. Got an old Winnebago, 2000 Winnebago Adventure that we bought a few years ago and restored. So we take that out camping sometimes in the summer. Okay, we're still on time, still 1:43 to get there. It's 1:32, so 11 minutes or so. We've got traffic entering the highway here. We're clear on the left if we want to get over. And she is doing that. And that was polite. She would have spaced it if she needed to. I've seen her plan for cars coming on the highway and adjust her spacing to make way for them. So it is pre-planning things like that. And our off-ramp is coming up at a 1/2 mile, no, 6 miles it says, so we got room to pass this fellow. And as you can see, I'm not doing any of it. We've got a max speed of 70 installed, which is fine for this highway. Let me go a little bit higher just so we can round out around these people. I didn't know we were doing 70 at the moment. Looks like they don't want to let me pass, so I'll just get over it. Well, I'm going to have to change driving modes if I want to get over, so I'll let standard pass it and let her increase to 75 and leave you in my dust. Eat my tire treads there, sucker. What did Chevy Chase say? Eat my dust, burn rubber. I forget. Rusty corrected him. Okay, that truck left, so the right lane's open now. Doing a little faster than I want, so I'll bring down the max speed. I don't want to be doing 78, 77, 76. That'll get us by this Brinks truck. Or whatever this is. Looks like just a rental truck. It's not I thought it was like a Brinks truck where they go out and pick up payrolls from stores and things during the day. And that looked just like a rental truck. So with Hardware 3 you have the max speed ability. You can tell the car I don't want to go this fast or go faster if you want. I've got the max speed set on 75 now. I think. Best I can read it from this distance. You can probably read it better than I can. We've got 3.2 miles remaining down the highway. The car's driven the whole way. Now, I certainly could have done this. I can hold onto the wheel and steer down the middle of the road. But it was much easier to merge on the highways. It's not having to think about all the traffic. The car is watching the two cars behind me 100% of the time. If they have any trouble, the car will avoid whatever it needs to do. I don't need to have situational awareness at 100% of the time around me. I get it. I'm supervising. I need to know what's going on, and I do. But that's the thing right now, is that when Tesla has all the numbers, and they are publishing their numbers right now, you can go to safety.tesla.com, I think, and the 7-8 million miles figure is there, or 7 or 8 times the safety factor when you're running FSD. And it's believable. That's about what I experience. So I enjoy it. I enjoy having a chauffeur, especially being part of the car already. Just part of the car. It's pretty cool. If you're not aware of it, the defense agency here, DARPA, had a challenge back in 2005, and I think before that even, they had some money they wagered. If anybody could drive 100 miles on a dirt road through the desert, successfully arriving at their destination. Yeah, there was a car coming up behind us. FSD signaled at the same time he signaled, but he was gaining on us by the time we started to leave the lane, and FSD retreated back into our lane and waited for him to pass us. So that was good. I've had that happen to me driving before, where you both decide to do something at the same time. And we're coming up on a half mile. This is our exit, so we need to be over here. And there's plenty of room before this exit, so we're not hurrying it at all. That's something that some people have noticed with earlier versions. And perhaps even with this version, but for this off-ramp in this situation, it worked just fine. Okay, we're turning south onto McCaslin right now. I don't know what the traffic situation is here. It looks like we're clear. She's pulling into the far left lane. That's 36. We're going to have to get over here. I'm going to override with that. Okay, no, you can't signal go. That may be a lane, but I'm going to leave you right here right now. Because this looked like an only lane. I know it's saying it, but don't do it. Okay, the truck's doing it, but I don't believe it. See, you can't turn. I honestly don't know. It looks like it goes through now. The signage back there. Okay. That's a situation where FSD was right. I took over because I don't know where we're heading or anything. And I thought that was a bad decision. Turns out it was a bad decision, but it was on my part. She probably would have got us here and made that light. There's the service center right over there. So that kind of thing happens too, to where you think you know more than the car does. Sometimes you do, so it's always a thrill. Okay, we're still holding here. I guess he can look at his phone. He's stopped. Why are cell phones so interesting? They really shouldn't be called phones anymore, are they? It's really just a small portion of what they do. Okay, cross lane's going. kind of thought we'd turn left before they went, but maybe not. Oh, this is one of those ones where the government leaves the red light there because they don't want you to make a decision to turn across when it's open. Boy, I love the government keeping me safe so I don't make silly decisions like seeing if there's a car coming and turning safely across with a flashing yellow. But it's a red, so I can't. Okay, FSD, I got the green though, so she'll go. We're signaling to the right. We'll pull in and make it to service. She's not going to pull in on purpose, so I'll just go around here.